That brisk October night in New York remains etched in my memory, when every rain-touched street gleamed beneath the radiance of countless urban lights. I knew then that years of careful planning had culminated in this singular, decisive moment. As I gazed up at the imposing structure of the Imperial Crown Hotel, my pulse quickened with a blend of reminiscence and resolve. It was our high school's 20-year reunion celebration, and though the event buzzed with chatter, glasses clinking and whispered tales of bygone achievements, I harbored a clandestine advantage that none of my former classmates could have imagined. I had always been the subtle observer, someone who commanded attention without raising my voice. My attire, a deep navy silk gown that cascaded like midnight water, exuded an understated sophistication requiring no flashy embellishments. I wore no gaudy gems or prominent designer emblems to broadcast my worth, for I alone understood the true extent of my accomplishments. I had constructed my domain from within the shadows, and tonight each step I took was part of an intricately designed strategy. I am Eleanor Blackwood, and what follows is the tale of my transformation from an overlooked homemaker into the unyielding sovereign of the financial realm. The Imperial Crown's entrance radiated grandeur. Crystal chandeliers cast dancing light across lustrous marble, while sounds of joyful reunions intermingled with champagne glasses touching in toast. Upon entering, I was enveloped by the familiar ambience of high-caliber conversations and subtle indulgences. Former classmates, now distinguished professionals across law, medicine, finance, and numerous other fields, formed exclusive circles, sharing accounts of their professional and personal successes. Yet one name resonated above all others: the name of Richard Sterling, once the celebrated star of our high school era. Richard, the ever-confident athlete turned corporate magnate, commanded attention at the heart of an admiring group, premium whiskey in hand. He boasted of his achievements at Sterling Worldwide, his thunderous laughter punctuating tales of multi-billion-dollar negotiations and lavish celebrations with industry leaders. His voice cut across the ambient noise like a commanding instrument, demanding reverence and attention. I approached the bar methodically, each step calculated and purposeful, knowing that momentarily I would engage him in a verbal exchange years in the making. Before I could reach the counter, Richard smirked as he recalled my retreat into domestic life. "I hear you settled for being just a housewife, Eleanor," he remarked, his tone laden with condescension as gentle laughter rippled through his entourage. His gaze sparkled with that familiar arrogance, as if my choice of a quieter existence confirmed his superiority. In that instant, I experienced a curious serenity. The rage I once anticipated had transformed into wry amusement, amusement born from awareness of my true influence. I tilted my crystal wine glass, allowing its delicate sound to accentuate the silence following his comment. "A simple housewife, Richard," I responded, my voice smooth as silk yet edged with frost. "Is that all you perceive?" I sipped my wine deliberately, each drop reminding me of the calculated maneuvers I had executed throughout the past decade. I held his smug expression in my gaze, knowing that while he reveled in self-importance, he remained utterly oblivious to the empire I had constructed in secrecy. You see, while he flaunted his financial conquests, none could fathom that behind the facade of a modest homemaker lay the driving force of Celestial Investments, a powerhouse firm with connections deeply woven into both technological and financial sectors. For 10 extended years, I had operated unseen, orchestrating market shifts, cultivating undervalued startups, and establishing groundwork for the ultimate strategic move against Sterling Worldwide, the very company Richard desperately clung to as his lifeline. I raised my glass in a subtle, mocking toast. "Congratulations, Richard. It's remarkable how you still cling to your illusions of success." My words, light as they appeared, carried an implicit threat, a promise that his era's end loomed imminent. Around us, conversation continued, but nobody realized that in that fleeting moment, I had positioned the first piece in an intricate chess match. If Richard continued perceiving me as merely a forgotten housewife, he would never suspect I was the architect behind the downfall he so deeply feared. The evening progressed as I mingled discreetly among clusters of old friends. Each conversation, each casual laugh, provided cover for gathering final intelligence pieces. I listened attentively to hushed mentions of financial troubles at Sterling Worldwide, observed subtle behavioral changes among those who once revered Richard, and noted every reference to strategic investments. I maintained complete control, my mind functioning with the clarity of someone who had spent years in high finances trenches, reshaping her destiny. Eventually, I slipped away from the crowded celebration and exited through the grand entrance into the cool evening. Rather than hailing a taxi, I walked gracefully to the waiting black sedan. Behind the wheel sat Marcus Reynolds, a trusted associate and chief operating officer at Celestial Investments. His composed professionalism silently affirmed the plans we had set in motion. "Any developments?" I inquired, my tone businesslike and direct. Marcus handed me a dossier with clinical precision. "Sterling Worldwide stands at the precipice, Eleanor. Their finances are in disarray, and unless they secure capital infusion from Celestial or another firm, asset seizures will begin within 3 months." I reviewed the figures, each number confirming what I had anticipated for years. Every analytic trend, every downward projection formed part of a larger mosaic I had meticulously assembled. "Excellent," I murmured, securing the dossier in my leather bag. "Prepare the next phase. Let Richard believe salvation lies within reach. When he thinks escape is possible, we strike." Marcus nodded, his expression revealing nothing as he answered, "Understood. We'll dismantle his facade piece by piece." I reclined in the plush seat, watching the city as its brilliance blurred past. Memories of a life once full of promise mingled with the quiet thrill of vindication and empowerment. I recalled my days blazing trails at one of Wall Street's elite financial firms, a meteoric career promising boundless potential. I had reached my professional zenith until choosing to step away for love. Daniel Sullivan, my former husband, had been a distinguished attorney whose charisma and ambition swept me into a romance promising domestic perfection. I believed love alone could fulfill me, so I sacrificed my flourishing career to build a family. Initially, it seemed the right decision. But society has ways of quietly erasing women who step away from professional prominence. At every social gathering, I was acknowledged not as Eleanor Blackwood, the brilliant financial strategist, but merely as Daniel's wife. Conversations once centered on market trends and economic forecasts shifted to trivial household matters. My reflection began showing not the astute expert I once was, but a woman gradually fading into her own life's periphery. Meanwhile, Daniel's world became consumed by endless meetings, late nights, and suspicious suggestions that I lacked depth. His dismissive remarks and subtle neglect revealed an undeniable truth. In his eyes and society's, women like me were destined for invisibility, to serve rather than lead. Yet each slight only strengthened my determination. The bitter taste of abandonment and underestimation drove me to reclaim my rightful position. The divorce proved excruciating. Orchestrated through Daniel's legal expertise, it left me with modest alimony and 2 invaluable assets, my intellect and my precocious 6-year-old daughter. Those early days, Lily, were marked by endless nights of study. I immersed myself in artificial intelligence complexities, blockchain, venture capital, and modern financial systems. While attending dance recitals and managing motherhood's daily routines, I absorbed every fragment of financial wisdom, every nuance of market behavior. I invested every penny of my modest alimony in undervalued startups, transforming a $50,000 nest egg into a burgeoning $5 million fortune within 2 years. My journey represented silent revolution. When my portfolio reached $10 million, I knew the time had come for a bold advance. I established Celestial Investments, operating from the shadows while others served as the firm's public face. I became the invisible architect behind every major merger and acquisition, carefully selecting underdogs and nurturing them into industry leaders. While media remained unaware, my influence spread quietly yet inexorably across Wall Street. Within 5 years, Celestial Investments had emerged as one of New York's most formidable venture capital firms, a phantom power whose presence influenced every major financial transaction. Then came the moment when Sterling Worldwide, once an industry titan, began deteriorating. Richard Sterling, with all his bravado and bluster, had mismanaged his company through ill-conceived investments and reckless decisions. Desperation set in as he scrambled for potential turnaround funding, blissfully unaware that Celestial Investments controlled every strategic lever capable of bringing him down. I had, over years, orchestrated every move, every whisper through financial corridors until his empire's fate was sealed. In my meticulously organized office, 3 glowing monitors displaying Sterling Worldwide's plummeting metrics, I savored fine Cabernet. The graphs and figures painted a grim picture: 27% annual profit decline, a looming $300 million loan repayment, and rapidly eroding share value undermining stakeholder confidence. Every detail confirmed what I had always known. Richard's empire teetered on collapse's edge. I smiled while initiating my plan's final phase. I had directed my team to prepare a merger proposal through Harrison Ventures, a covert Celestial Investments subsidiary with undisclosed ownership. The proposal appeared remarkably generous, a $250 million lifeline for Sterling Worldwide exchanging 49% company ownership and critical control rights. A hidden clause ensured complete ownership transfer to Harrison if profit targets weren't met within 6 months. Richard believed this rescued him from bankruptcy, when in truth he willingly surrendered his legacy, further tightening the noose. I mobilized my media division, orchestrating strategically timed reports beginning with a renowned financial outlet feature portraying Sterling Worldwide as a failing enterprise. Desperate for rescue, rumors of default, dwindling share prices, and investor panic spread rapidly. Within 48 hours, company stock plummeted further as the board took notice. Richard faced no viable alternative when his bank, already under my influence, revised loan extension terms, leaving him one desperate option: accept Harrison Investments' lifeline. 3 days later, in a glass-encased boardroom high above the city, Richard's signature finalized the merger agreement. That single pen stroke marked not rescue, but the final blow to his once mighty enterprise. I had successfully maneuvered him into inevitable downfall. Every detail aligned with my strategy, ensuring by the time he realized what transpired, intervention would prove impossible. My next move proved even more decisive. I enlisted Sebastian Ward, Sterling Worldwide's chief financial officer, another man who, like Richard, underestimated my resolve. During a discreet meeting away from watchful eyes, I offered Sebastian a proposition: $5 million immediate compensation plus guaranteed executive position at Celestial Investments for cooperation in accelerating Richard's collapse. After brief hesitation, he signed our agreement. From that point, Sebastian began sowing leadership doubt among board members and investors. His quiet revelations triggered a chain reaction, prompting swift, devastating Sterling Worldwide share sell-offs. Within 2 weeks, Harrison Investments delivered official board notification. Sterling Worldwide had failed meeting quarterly profit targets and, as stipulated, Harrison would assume complete company control. An emergency board meeting convened where Richard was unceremoniously removed as CEO. Eleanor Blackwood, assumed leadership over the very company once representing his pride. As security escorted Richard from the building, a structure bearing his family name for generations, I observed his downfall from my sleek 40th floor office vantage point. I savored each moment, burgundy in hand. Yet my ambition extended beyond merely toppling Richard. I wanted him feeling his demise's full weight. To recognize that the woman he arrogantly dismissed had engineered his ruin. Within 48 hours, I ensured his collapse details reached every major financial outlet. A carefully crafted media statement from an anonymous financial analyst declared that, due to persistent financial instability and poor leadership, Mr. Richard Sterling no longer remains suitable for leading Sterling Worldwide. The story dominated CNBC, Bloomberg, Forbes headlines, and beyond. Investors abandoned ship as Richard's empire crumbled beneath relentless scrutiny and ensuing panic. 10 days later, the Global Investment Summit commenced in Los Angeles, gathering the world's most influential CEOs, investors, and financial experts. Richard, once such conference's darling, appeared as desperate remnant clinging to fading power vestiges. I attended incognito, my transformation from quiet housewife to Eleanor Blackwood, Celestial Investments CEO, complete. I entered the grand ballroom wearing an exquisite black designer gown, holding champagne and discreet USB drive containing damning evidence of Richard's financial misconduct, evidence that, if released, would not merely ruin him but potentially result in incarceration. Moving through industry titans, I finally located him, Richard appearing haggard and visibly shaken, eyes widening with recognition and panic as I approached. "Eleanor, what brings you here?" he stammered, clearly attempting to mask growing anxiety. I offered calculated smile, replying coolly, "How fitting, Richard, encountering you under these circumstances." Without further comment, I discreetly pressed the USB drive into his trembling hand. "You have 24 hours to permanently exit the financial sector, or these files transfer directly to SEC. Your reputation isn't all at stake. Your freedom hangs in balance." For one extended, heavy moment, silence prevailed between us. I watched color drain from his face, hands visibly shaking with fate's realization. I tilted my head slightly, sipped champagne, and delivered final parting words. "This demonstrates what happens when underestimating a woman, Richard." That moment changed everything. The following morning, my assistant's message arrived. Richard Sterling had formally withdrawn from the financial industry, citing need to reassess life direction. His exit's truth, however, remained known only to me. I had ensured his permanent removal from power. Returning to my executive office on Celestial Tower's 40th floor, I reviewed latest updates across Bloomberg, CNBC, and Wall Street Journal. Headlines appeared unambiguous: Richard Sterling exits finance following Sterling worldwide collapse, and Celestial Investments emerges as venture capital dominant force. Profound satisfaction filled me as I sipped artisanal coffee. The man once dominating financial spheres had vanished without trace, retreating into obscurity and disgrace, while I, Eleanor Blackwood, orchestrated modern financial history's most audacious takeover. But my triumph transcended personal revenge. My vision extended beyond one arrogant man's downfall. I determined to reshape finance's entire landscape, ensuring no individual, especially dismissive doubters, could ever again underestimate a woman's potential. Celestial Investments, under my strategic guidance, expanded its portfolio into cutting-edge fintech, challenging traditional banking's entrenched powers. I launched groundbreaking investment fund exclusively for female entrepreneurs, providing platform for those long sidelined by conformity pricing systems. Soon I found myself crafting comprehensive financial mastery guide extending beyond monetary strategies. It explored influence and authority's intricate dynamics, empowering others to rewrite personal narratives. Daily, I balanced high-stakes negotiations with introspective moments, often revisiting painful underestimation memories. During such reflections, I would smile, knowing each step represented not merely personal victory, but beacon for countless others feeling invisible or dismissed. Then arrived unexpected message from Daniel Sullivan, my former husband, the man once symbolizing my supposed finance battlefield retreat. His message appeared terse, uncertain. "Eleanor, we need discussing matters. Tomorrow afternoon meeting possible." Despite emotional turbulence, I agreed, viewing this as opportunity for definitive chapter closure. Next day found me in quaint cafe where shared dream memories once flourished. Daniel's formerly confident demeanor had yielded to regretful tentativeness. "Your success appears everywhere, Eleanor," he awkwardly stated, his eyes searching mine for glimpses of the woman once known. "I never imagined you achieving such heights." I offered composed smile, replying, "Your underestimation fueled my transformation, Daniel. I became who I am through every slight, every dismissive word." His apologies arrived too late, my path now irrevocably established. That evening, returning home, I discovered Lily poised, determined 16-year-old engrossed in financial magazine. Looking up, her eyes sparkled proudly. "Mom, Forbes featured you today, she announced, voice brimming with admiration. They're calling you the woman who revolutionized Wall Street. I chuckled softly. Revolution isn't merely disrupting status quo. It's rewriting rules for subsequent generations. Her thoughtful acknowledgement confirmed I had secured not only personal legacy, but paved pathways for future generations. My office soon became strategic activity hub. SEC message arrived, inviting me leading specialized financial strategy course at prestigious business school. I savored that moment, public recognition of my journey from invisible housewife to formidable global finance force. As if confirming my transformation, Lily sent final evening text. Mom, documenting your incredible journey seems timely. I replied with heartfelt promise. I wouldn't label it merely my story. I would call it manifesto on rule rewriting. Standing amid success twilight, I reflected upon every twist leading to this moment. From neglect and betrayal bitterness to triumphant destiny reclamation, each experience taught resilience lessons. I learned that one's true worth